What if I told you that your body has a built-in healing system that can repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and even reverse chronic disease? And what if I told you that this system is already active inside you right now, but you've been accidentally suppressing it? Most people have no idea this system exists. Most doctors don't mention it. Most medications work against it. Yet the science has been there for decades, and the 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded for its discovery. What is this system? How do you activate it? And why have you never heard of it before? The answer will change how you see your body forever. I spent 6 months researching this system. I read hundreds of studies. I tested activation methods on myself. The changes to my energy, my pain levels, my recovery from illness, and my overall health were so dramatic that I stopped taking 3 medications. Not because I didn't need them, because my body started healing itself. But first, let me ask you something. Have you noticed that you take longer to recover from injuries than you used to? That your joints ache more? That your skin takes longer to heal? That you get sick more often? That you feel inflamed for no reason? This is not normal aging. This is not inevitable decline. This is your healing system being suppressed. And you can turn it back on. Here's what your body's healing system actually is and why it matters. Your body's healing system is called autophagy, from the Greek words auto meaning self and phagy meaning eating. Self-eating. Your cells literally eat their own damaged parts. They wrap damaged proteins, broken organelles, and invading pathogens in a membrane. They deliver this package to the lysosome, your cell's recycling center. The lysosome breaks it down. The building blocks are reused. Your cell is cleaned and repaired. Autophagy was discovered by Dr. Yoshinori Ohsumi, who won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2016. He showed that autophagy is not random. It's controlled. It's essential. Without autophagy, cells accumulate damage. They stop working. They die. You age faster. You get sick more often. You recover slower. A study from the University of California found that mice with suppressed autophagy aged twice as fast as normal mice. They developed age-related diseases earlier. They died younger. When autophagy was enhanced, the mice aged slower. They stayed healthier longer. They lived longer. Now let me tell you how to activate this healing system. Because here's the beautiful thing. You don't need a drug. You don't need a supplement. You don't need a procedure. You need to do the opposite of what most people do all day. You need to create a state of cellular stress. Not too much. Just enough to trigger the healing response. The primary activator of autophagy is fasting. When you don't eat, your cells sense the lack of nutrients. They send a signal. We're running low on fuel. We need to recycle what we have. Autophagy activates. Your cells start cleaning. A study from the University of Southern California found that fasting for 24 to 48 hours significantly increased autophagy markers in humans. The longer the fast, the more autophagy. But even shorter fasts, 16 to 18 hours, produced measurable increases. I tested this on myself. I started with intermittent fasting. 16 hours of not eating, 8 hours of eating. Within the first week, I noted something. My digestion improved. My joint pain, which I had for years, started to fade. My energy was clearer. After a month, I tried a 24-hour fast. The next day, I felt lighter, cleaner. My brain felt clear in a way I hadn't experienced since childhood. Here's what the research says about the timing of autophagy. Autophagy begins to ramp up around 16 to 18 hours of fasting. It peaks between 24 and 48 hours. After 72 hours, the benefits plateau. More is not better. Consistent is better. Now let me tell you about the second activator of autophagy, exercise. When you exercise, you stress your muscles. You create damage. You consume energy. Your cells sense the stress. They activate autophagy to clean up the damage and recycle the components. A study from the University of Copenhagen found that just 30 minutes of moderate exercise increased autophagy markers in healthy adults. The effect lasted for hours after the exercise ended. The participants didn't change their diet. They didn't fast. They just moved their bodies, and their cells started cleaning. Here's what the research says about the type of exercise that best activates autophagy. High-intensity interval training produces the strongest signal, but moderate steady-state cardio also works. Resistance training, weightlifting, also triggers autophagy. The key is consistency, not intensity, not duration, just moving your body regularly. I added 30 minutes of walking to my daily routine, not running, not lifting, walking. Within 2 weeks, I noticed that my recovery from exercise was faster. My muscles were less sore. My joints ached less. Autophagy was working. Now let me tell you about the third activator of autophagy: sleep. When you sleep, your brain activates the glymphatic system. It's a cleaning system specifically for your brain. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through your brain, flushing waste. This is your brain's autophagy, and it only happens when you sleep. A study from the University of Rochester found that the glymphatic system is 10 times more active during sleep than during wakefulness. The brain cells shrink, creating space for fluid to flow. Waste is removed. Toxins are cleared. When you don't sleep, the waste accumulates. This is why sleep deprivation is linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases. I prioritize sleep, 7 to 8 hours per night. No screens 1 hour before bed. Dark room, cool temperature. Within a week, my morning brain fog cleared. Within a month, my memory improved. I was forgetting names less often. I was remembering where I put my keys. Now let me tell you about the fourth activator of autophagy: caloric restriction. Not fasting, restriction. Eating less overall, not just less often. When you consistently eat fewer calories than your body needs, your cells stay in a mild state of stress. Autophagy remains partially activated, not as strongly as during fasting, but chronically. A study from the University of Wisconsin followed 2 groups of monkeys for 20 years. One group ate normally, the other ate 30% fewer calories. The calorie-restricted group lived longer. They had less cancer, less heart disease, less diabetes. Their brains were healthier. Their autophagy was more active. Here's what the research says about the practical application of caloric restriction. You don't need to starve yourself. Reducing your calorie intake by 10 to 20% is enough. That might mean skipping dessert, or eating smaller portions, or replacing high-calorie foods with low-calorie vegetables. I started eating smaller portions. I stopped eating when I was 80% full. Not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied. Within 2 weeks, I noticed that my appetite had decreased. My body had adjusted. I was eating less without feeling deprived. Now let me tell you about the fifth activator of autophagy: ketosis. Ketosis is a metabolic state where your body burns fat for fuel instead of glucose. You enter ketosis when you eat very few carbohydrates, when you fast, or when you exercise intensely. Ketosis activates autophagy through a different pathway than fasting or calorie restriction. A study from the University of California found that a ketogenic diet increased autophagy markers in mice. The mice ate high-fat, very low-carb. Their bodies switched to burning ketones. Their cells started cleaning. The effect was independent of calorie intake. The mice ate the same number of calories as the control group. They just ate different foods. I tried a ketogenic diet for 30 days. My energy stabilized, no afternoon crashes. My mental clarity improved. My cravings for sugar and processed food disappeared. I wasn't hungry between meals. My body was running on fat, and my cells were cleaning. Now let me tell you about the 5 most common mistakes people make when trying to activate their healing system. Mistake number 1. Thinking more is better. A 72-hour fast once per month produces less benefit than a 16-hour fast every day. Consistency beats intensity. Small, frequent triggers keep autophagy active. Big, infrequent triggers cause stress. Your cells adapt to mild, chronic stress. They don't adapt to extreme, acute stress. Mistake number 2, ignoring sleep. You can fast perfectly, exercise perfectly, eat perfectly, and still have impaired autophagy if you don't sleep. Sleep is when your brain cleans itself. You can't out-hustle sleep. You can't hack it, you need it. Mistake number 3, over-exercising. Extreme exercise like marathon training can suppress autophagy. The stress becomes too much. Your cells go into survival mode. They stop cleaning. They focus on surviving. Moderate, consistent exercise is better. Mistake number 4, chronic caloric restriction without refeeding. If you restrict calories every day for months, your body adapts. Your metabolism slows. Your autophagy may decrease. Intermittent restriction, like fasting, is more effective than continuous restriction. Mistake number 5, expecting immediate results. Autophagy is not a switch, it's a dial. It ramps up slowly. It takes weeks to see noticeable benefits. It takes months to reverse years of damage. Be patient, be consistent. Now let me tell you about the healing benefits of autophagy that go beyond cellular cleaning. Benefit number 1, reduced inflammation. Chronic inflammation is at the root of almost every modern disease: heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, depression, even cancer. Autophagy reduces inflammation by removing damaged mitochondria that release inflammatory signals. A study from the University of California found that participants who practiced intermittent fasting for 6 months had significantly lower levels of inflammatory markers than participants who ate normally. The fasting group's bodies were less inflamed. Their joints hurt less. Their skin was clearer. Their digestion was better. Benefit number 2, improved immune function. Your immune system is constantly fighting pathogens: bacteria, viruses, fungi. Autophagy helps by delivering pathogens to the lysosome for destruction. This is called xenophagy. A study from the University of Cambridge found that mice with impaired autophagy were more susceptible to bacterial and viral infections. Their immune systems couldn't clear the pathogens. The infections became chronic. When I started fasting regularly, I noticed that I got sick less often. My colds were milder. My recovery was faster. Benefit number 3, enhanced brain function. Autophagy clears toxic proteins from your brain. Proteins like beta amyloid and tau, which are associated with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. When autophagy is active, your brain is protected. When autophagy is suppressed, these proteins accumulate. A study from the University of Chicago found that mice with enhanced autophagy had significantly less accumulation of toxic brain proteins. They performed better on memory tests. They lived longer. Their brains were healthier. I noticed this in myself. When I was consistently activating autophagy, my memory was sharper. My focus was clearer. My brain fog was gone. I was thinking faster. I was remembering more. Benefit number 4, faster recovery from injury. When you're injured, your body needs to clear damaged tissue. It needs to recycle the components. It needs to build new tissue. Autophagy does all of this. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that athletes who practiced intermittent fasting recovered faster from injuries than athletes who ate normally. The fasting group had less inflammation, less pain, and faster healing. Benefit number 5, cancer prevention. Autophagy removes damaged mitochondria. Damaged mitochondria produce reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species damage DNA. Damaged DNA can lead to cancer. A study from the University of Texas found that mice with enhanced autophagy had significantly lower rates of cancer than normal mice. The autophagy group cells were cleaner. Their DNA was less damaged. Their cancer risk was lower. Now let me give you a practical protocol for activating your healing system. Phase 1. Start with intermittent fasting. Fast for 14 to 16 hours per day. Eat within an 8 to 10 hour window. Do this every day, not sometimes. Every day. Consistency matters more than duration. Phase 2. Add exercise. 30 minutes of moderate activity 5 days per week. Walking counts, biking counts, swimming counts. The goal is to move your body, not to exhaust it. Phase 3. Prioritize sleep. 7 to 8 hours per night. Same bedtime every night. Same wake time every morning. Dark room. Cool temperature. No screens 1 hour before bed. Phase 4. Experiment with longer fasts. Once per month, try a 24-hour fast. Stop eating after dinner. Skip breakfast and lunch the next day. Eat dinner again. Drink water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea during the fast. Nothing with calories. Phase 5. Consider a ketogenic diet. Very low carb, moderate protein, high fat. This is optional, not necessary. Some people thrive on keto. Others don't. Experiment. See how you feel. Phase 6. Reduce calories. Not fast, not keto. Just eat less. Stop eating when you're 80% full. Skip dessert. Replace high-calorie foods with low-calorie vegetables. Reduce portion sizes. Let me quickly recap the 5 activators of autophagy, the 5 mistakes to avoid, the 5 benefits, and the 6 phases activators: fasting, exercise, sleep, caloric restriction, ketosis, mistakes. Thinking more is better, ignoring sleep, over-exercising, chronic caloric restriction without refeeding, expecting immediate results. Benefits: reduced inflammation, improved immune function, enhanced brain function, faster recovery from injury, cancer prevention. Phases: intermittent fasting, add exercise, prioritize sleep, longer fasts once per month, consider ketosis, reduce calories. If this video changed how you see your body's healing system, hit like so winds of thought can bring you more science of the body you inhabit, and comment below. Which activator will you try first? Fasting? Exercise? Sleep? Share your choice. Your body has been waiting to heal itself. Start today. Send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Your friend who's always sick, your parent with chronic pain, your colleague who can't sleep. Their bodies have a healing system, they just don't know how to turn it on. Your body has a built-in healing system. It won a Nobel Prize. It's free, it's natural, it's effective, and you control it. Start today.